You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Chiro Thin, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Universal Tractioning Systems, Rhino Coaching, Chiropractic Jobs Online, and Chiro Matchmakers. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 75 of Chiro Hustle. I'm Luke Millette, and here's Jim Chester.
Hey everyone, so today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. David Touhill, and this guy is very in sync with the online platforms and product launching. So if you guys want to understand more about the social media space and how to grow an audience and influence, stay tuned. Dr. Touhill, tell us about your chiropractic story and what influenced you become a chiropractor. And, secondary to that question is what makes you unique in the chiropractic world?
Yeah, so, I think everybody has a unique story in chiropractic. I was born into a family of 10 kids, and kind of my family followed more of the conventional model as I was raised. But I was playing basketball when I was 8th grade or so, and I had my parents had thought for a while that I had one leg that was shorter than the other. And for the docs who are listening, that's it's a common complaint when it comes into the office is people think that one leg's shorter than the other, but it really ended up just being a hip discrepancy. So I had my first experience with chiropractic there, and then my brother-in-law actually went to chiropractic school, came back, and I remember he used to just bring me down into his apartment and kind of just read the green books to me and show and kind of teach me what the mission of chiropractic was and how it was different. I had every intention of entering medical school, and after about 3 or 4 months working with chatting with him and reading green books and talking about the principle of chiropractic and how it was different, the vitalistic model, I decided to go into chiropractic school. So I went to undergrad at Middle Tennessee State University here in Nashville, where I'm at right now, and then went to a chiropractic school at Life University. Graduated about 3.5 years ago now. I graduated, and actually halfway through about towards the end of my first year in school, I had been working in my brother-in-law's practice and driving traffic into his practice. And frankly, what got me into the whole digital marketing space was I just had like a intense hate for screenings. And I know there's screening warriors out there that love screenings. For me, it was I just couldn't do it. Like, it was the worst for me. I dreaded it. And I wasn't even terrible at it. It was just one of those things where I just didn't like to do it. So at the end of my first year in chiropractic school, I was helping my brother-in-law with his marketing, and we started to working on running some ads and running ads to fill events and working more in the digital media space. And it was very successful for him. And then I was living in Buckhead, Atlanta at the time, and had been friends with Dr. Dan Sullivan, as some of you may know, and worked with him on building the Chiropractic Advocate. Helped him build the part of the adjustment posters, really all the posters that he has there, and we worked on the a number of his different subscriptions, and that's what kind of got me started into more of not just doing marketing and Facebook ads, but building courses, building brands, lastly, I graduated. I went into practice, was in practice full time and running my agency full time. That was digital marketing and design, on the development of online programs and online products. And then I was Jordan Rubin and Dr. Josh Axe grabbed me and said, "Hey, we'd like you to move from what you're currently doing and start working with us on a number of our products." So I ended up going to part-time practices, which is what I do now. I actually adjust the Dr. Axe team. That's what I actually do today. So I adjust the team and some of their family members. And then I'm a digital marketing strategist full-time for a number of different clients. So I know that was a long response, Jim, but hopefully that covered some of those points.
Yeah, listening to what you said, I think is going to be pretty interesting to a lot of docs out there, because I think so many docs come out of school and they think about this like long term, like I'm going to be doing only this and only this and only this. And before they know it, their identity is only this. So I think it's really cool that you could spin into the chiropractic space and feed, your ambitions as a marketer, and, learn from your experience as to what you can bring to the marketplace, and really get lined up with some key influencers in the chiropractic sphere. I think that was probably essential for you to not just dive right into full-time practice, but to, diversify yourself over both mediums, right?
Yeah, and I think it's a great point. I think, two things. One is, I believe everybody has a calling, and I think that in chiropractic we can get a little bit, hey, if you're a chiropractor, all you do is adjust, that's all you do, and that's the intention of it. And to be honest with you, for the majority of chiropractors, that needs to be that.
Of course.
Because we need more people getting adjusted. I'm still knocking on a couple hundred adjustments a week. So I'm still, and that feeds me. So like, for me, I think one of the unique things about it is, Dr. Chiro we had talked about this. I had lunch with him a couple weeks ago, and he said, because I think one of the unique things that I'm able to bring to the table is I've been in a successful practice. I've done the 500 adjustments a week, seen 20, 30 new patient exams every week, done my financials, done care plans, done corrective care. So I know what it looks like on the other end. Jim, you're great at this as well. And I saw in your bio, it used to be, you used to talk about chiropractic as your profession, and now you say it's our profession. And I think that's a big shift, especially if the docs that are listening. If you're looking for a marketer, or you're looking for someone that can help you, advance your vision for your practice. Really look at people who have experience in chiropractic and in the space, that understand. You have a lot of marketers. If you have a marketer that's not under regular chiropractic care, I would suggest probably not having him as your marketer, right? Because there's something unique about our profession that if you don't understand the principle and the model, the vitalistic model, ads are a dime a dozen. You can get a ton of people to run your ads or to do marketing for you. But someone that understands the principle is so important. That's where I believe that I've been able to be very effective, even in helping Dr. Dan build his brand. I've actually partnered with him on a new product that we're launching. We actually launched last week. But is the ability to connect the dots, to bridge the gap between how do we get this incredible principle that we have, this vitalistic principle, and bring it to the market in a way that doesn't cheapen it, and that doesn't feel like cookie cutter or the same as everything else. So yeah, I think, Dr. Josh is another person that shares that same, vitalistic principle, and he believes. And Jordan Rubin, again, is another person. Obviously, Dr. Dan is outspoken about his belief in the principle. And I think that that's something that, kind of flows through everything that we do in business. And like you said, my opportunity to be able to build these connections has been through that belief, that mutual belief in how the body heals. I agree 100%.
So tell us a little bit about the marketing that you do with Josh Axe.
Yeah, so Josh is one of my clients, Ancient Nutrition. But so what I do is I work as a digital strategist. So I would kind of liken it to, if you're building a house, you would hire an architect, and he would look at your land, look at where your location is, look at the ground, look at the soil, look at your budget, right? And basically develop a strategy, develop a blueprint for your marketing. Not just your marketing, but your product development, where we're going to source the product, how we're going to bring the product to the market, your audience that you're looking to connect with, right? So, a mom in New York City and a mom in Franklin, Tennessee have two that are, they're both of the same age, have two completely different needs and wants, different attention spans, and different things they're willing to spend money on. So I work for Josh, and I work with Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson, her husband, and a number of other people. I've worked with Dr. Patrick Gentempo and Dr. Chris Zano, obviously Dr. Dan. Dr. Billy DeMoss. I work with him on marketing CalJam. But I really come in as more of a chief strategist to look at the 1,000-foot view and say, okay, what plan do we need to create to be effective here? And I think it's very important because I think we kind of, especially when docs want to, whether it's driving Facebook ads, whether it's driving ads for a product, ads for a supplement, whether it's developing a great looking website that's going to get people to convert, not just have a website, but get a website to convert. I think it's very important to look at the overall big picture and not just look at, we just need to create a website, but what's the intention of this website? What's the intention of these ads long term? And so that's where I come in alongside health companies and do that. And develop, that overall strategy, and then I bring the team on. So I hire in the agencies that are going to do the work, or hire in team members that are going to do the work. Maybe it's a Facebook strategist, maybe it's a social media director or a writer for a health blog or for a health company. I basically assemble that team. So that's what I'm working on a product right now, a new product for Jordan and Josh right now, and kind of got to keep that under the. It's kind of in the private or what's the word, the top secret category, but you'll see it come onto the market in the next couple of months. So I'm working on that with them, and working on a product with Dan Sullivan. And I would say I kind of work on kind of like a assassin. I'll work on one or two projects at a time until it's scaled, the team's on board, and I essentially kind of work myself out of the job, and then I move on to the next product.
That's super exciting, man. Listening to what you've been able to do, it's really honorable to see somebody that can come in and help so many influencers become more influential. And I think that when you find high caliber clients like you've been able to find, and being able to scale them and really, let them fly a little bit because of your abilities to put them onto the right platforms. It's really cool because, everybody that is listening to this, you might not know this, but Ancient Nutrition is at almost every grocery store across America, right?
Yeah, every grocery store. We just actually recently got into Costco and Target. So
those moves are massive, bro. That's something to be really proud of for what you've been able to do with that team. And like you said, it's not just you, it's the people that you assemble. But it's having the vision to assemble the people in order. It's like a human funnel system, You get a chance to be like the lead gen, and then you put it all together, and before you know it, there's conversions happening.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I definitely give credit, that was definitely not my doing. That's definitely credit to the team that Josh and Jordan have built here. I'm happy to play my small role in it.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things is one of the key things that Josh always says this is everybody he has a lot of different meetings and he'll meet up with people for lunch and I'll usually join him in kind of giving some advice to a company, and his top advice that he's given to this point, I've heard him say it every single time, has been focus on one thing and be obsessive about one thing. So whatever that gift is, or whatever that thing is that you believe you're best in the world at, focus on that one thing. Because what I see is a lot of people have these side hustles, or hey, I want to start doing this, or I want to start doing this, or maybe you're running a practice and you want to start learning Facebook ads. Well, unless that's the one sole thing you're going to focus on 100% of the time, you don't focus on it. Hire someone else. Have Jim come in and do. Have Jim come in to do it, or have another agency come in and to help you with your SEO. But if your sole focus is or if your focus is in 10 different directions, and I know a lot of the people listening, this principle, but I think that it's not said enough that when I started to working in my specific lane and I didn't take on any other projects, I don't run Facebook ads right now. I have great agencies that run Facebook ads, but I don't actually physically go in and run the ads. I design the strategy around the ads. But what I realized was when I started getting into and kind of getting in the weeds of focusing on ad details, I lost my ability to look strategically at the whole project. So I think the biggest thing that I've learned that's allowed me to grow and allow the companies that I work with to grow is having everybody in the right seat in the bus, doing the right thing at the right time, and they're focused. They're obsessively focused about that one thing. The side hustle thing I think is is overrated, especially for a lot of the high level people that are listening to this podcast. Side hustles don't exist. If you want to take your practice and go virtual, or if you want to build a membership-based practice, become obsessive about memberships and study memberships and build a membership-based practice. If you want to build multiple practices, become obsessive about building multiple practices. So find other people that have built multiple practices and study how they did it, then find someone else that did it. But I think, the one thing that I would say has been the biggest impact on me is removing all the clutter on the sides, all these ideas that would just pop up. Oh, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this. Hey, let's focus on this one thing that we can do. I can be best in the world at, and then build a team around me that do the things that I'm not best at, that slow me down and take away the momentum. So.
No, that's really cool. I see what you're doing. You work very well in the invisible realm almost, because a lot of what you do is working with these people as strategic coaching almost. And you've only been out of school for 4 years, man. So that's pretty insightful to me that you've been able to make such an impact in a short amount of time. Some of the things you've been accomplishing, I would honestly say that some people, that's their crowning achievement for a career. And it's just really cool to see that you're humble and still capable of helping and still capable of keeping your head down and knowing what your role is and being obsessed about it. So, yeah, man, it's really it's cool to get to know you on the interview and to be able to find out some of these hidden gems I didn't know about you.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, and as we go into the interview a little deeper, is there any type of quote or commitment that you help say to yourself that keeps your momentum going as either being a digital marketer, strategist, or a chiropractor?
Yeah, and I think it's probably piggybacking on the last thing I said. And Evan Tardy, Josh's company president, says this is one goal, one action. And again, I'm obsessive about simplifying things because I think there's always a solution, but I think that we complicate the solution. So when I am, I would say my two are one goal, one action, and then simplicity adds focus. So having that one goal and making it taking that goal and making it as simple as possible, versus getting kind of caught up into, okay, there's a zillion things. What are the number one thing? One thing Jim, I can send you the link to this. There's two things that I'm pretty obsessive about, and that's KPIs, or we call it key performance indicators, and OKRs, and that's objectives and key results. So real quick, KPIs, if you don't know, are key performance indicators are, hey, when you hire a staff member, in your office, in your practice, maybe you're hiring an X-ray staff member, you're hiring a front desk manager, take all the other crap and, stuff that's, the distractions out of the way, like the resumes and all that stuff. What are the key metrics that you're going to be responsible for in this practice? And letting them know that up front. So those are the key metrics, and we meet I meet with my staff on those about once every month. And I would say one of the best parts of that key metric, and again, Jim, I'll share these with you. So if anybody has questions or what these look like, I'd be happy to share kind of my outline that I use. But one of the things that I love about that one is at the end of they have a report that they fill out every month. And at the end of the report, it says, what was your high point and low point of the month, both in our business and personally, right? And that allows you to build that connection with your staff members so that you're able to, connect with them on a level that maybe is, a little bit different. You're able to build more of a community than just a place of work. So that's one thing. And then the other one is objective and key results. So we do that quarterly. I actually have the staff set the goals. So I found that, leaders, and kind of like you were mentioning before, like my goal is to lift up my team, because my team is the people that actually really do the work, in my opinion. I can guide but my leadership is through lifting up the team. So the objectives and key results actually pass over the authority to them to set the objectives. So I'll set an objective maybe for the quarter of, okay, this quarter we want to make, $5 million through Amazon sales, right? And then, here when I have the 5 team members that are responsible for that, they say, okay, we're going to need this, this, and this to hit this number. We need to get 2 million from this avenue. The second team member, we're going to need to have this, this, and this happen to this number. And they essentially create what we call the objectives and key results. And I can share this with you. I short training on this that I've actually Google. This is how Google tracks their metrics. But back to the quote, simplicity adds focus. These key metrics take away all the I think this, or I'm not sure about this, or hey, here's 70 things to do. No, there's 3 things we need to focus on. I don't micromanage. These are the 3 goals we need to hit this quarter, and all of them are always focused on the financial goal of the quarter. So maybe it's maybe for the doctors, maybe it's, hey, we want to build our social presence online. We want to get 1,000 followers, right, on our Facebook page. Okay, well then an objective and key result could be we need to get 50 reviews over the next quarter, right? 50 Facebook reviews, which is going to help build your following. So, okay, what staff members are responsible for this, and then have the staff member come up with the strategy. Us as doctors and business owners almost always feel like we have the best strategy. We hired staff to help us with that, right? So having staff members, okay, my goal is to do this. We're going to have a system in the office that after the first re-exam, I'm going to you're going to bring the patient, if the pain has gone from a 5 to a 4, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. Bring them to the front desk, and then the staff member at the front desk will guide them in leaving a Facebook review. So that's okay. That's going to get us to that goal. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, we need maybe number 2 for that OKR to get that to 1,000 people on our Facebook page. It's we need to post 3 times a week. This, and this. Okay, that person is responsible for getting content, posting the content. And so on and so forth. So you can see how that kind of can add up. So that number of 1,000 patients a week, that's too high, right? But then oftentimes we can kind of say, okay, go and figure it out. But I think the simplicity of it, of saying, okay, what are the key things we need to do to hit that? And if you don't know what those key things are, whatever your goal is, find someone else that has hit it and ask them what the key things were for them to get to that point. So yeah, to answer your question, and I think I gave it maybe a little bit more, but simplicity adds focus, and 1 goal, 1 action. Focus on 1 goal, just like being obsessive with that one thing. Focus on that 1 goal and hitting that 1 goal. Don't focus on trying to build 1,000 people on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Tinder, all those different platforms. Focus just on Facebook, right? And then once you get to 1,000 on Facebook, new goal, 1,000 on Instagram. Focus on 1 goal, 1 action. And keep it simple.
Yeah, I love how you tie it together with the quote and then actionables around it. So I think that's pretty helpful for people to understand how tangible it is. If you are strategic and you plan stuff out and you do have people that are capable of managing tasks, instead of one person saying, oh, I'm the social media strategist. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and I have to do 5 other things, and then my checklist by the end of the day, there's 3 or 4 things I didn't get to, so darn it, how do we make up for a lost day of this?
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about some of your training programs, and what would it look like if more people took your trainings?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I'm actually just transitioning into doing some programs, because I think a lot of the strategies that I do in my strategic consulting for digital media and product development can be, a lot of the stuff I keep repeating the same thing over again. I mean, it got to the point, guys, where it was literally like I would just literally read the same thing over again. There'd be a few things that would be tailored just to that person. I was charging these people thousands of dollars, and I was like, I was almost feeling guilty, because I was like, I'm giving you the same thing, and it works, right? They're getting this, they're getting the results. But there's certain key things, especially when you're building your social media, when you're building your presence online, whether you want to build a podcast or have a YouTube channel, or maybe you're showing your adjustments on YouTube, or maybe it's you're building an email list so you can drive more patients through emails. Maybe you want to build a larger event, and so you want to do marketing around the event, but not the type of marketing that like overwhelms your staff, but what's the most effective ways to market an in-office event. So what I've done is I actually partnered with Andrew East and Dr. Dan Sullivan. One of the programs that Dr. Dan recently launched about, it's bringing chiropractic to your community, is and I'm sure many of you have seen it, because I know a lot of chiros are following Dr. Dan. He's awesome. But that one we created around talks. So we basically created 3 steps. So there's 12 talks in there. And obviously Dan is, adamant about changing the conversation from hard bone on soft nerve to, how the adjustment affects the entire body as a whole, and the science of the chiropractic adjustment. So he actually created talks for you to give in your office that have all the top 11 topics in that we see in our chiropractic offices. And it not only gives you the talk, it gives you the Facebook ad that you need to run for the talk. It gives you the flyer to hand out for your office before the talk. It gives you the actual talk, and then it gives you a handout to give out after the talk with all the takeaways and a call to action to come in for a new patient appointment in the office. So it's pretty much everything you need for in-office talks. I don't think there's nothing that's even close to the quality of that program. So from a chiropractic in-office side, that program is incredible, and I encourage you guys to check it out. I think he may be doing another launch sometime towards the end of the year. So if you see that, or if you have any questions on that, you can shoot me a message or shoot Dr. Dan a message. And real quick before I go through into the second one, I think and Jim, you're a great example of this, but aligning yourself with people and programs that you really feel are necessary and can really help the people that are taking them. I think that oftentimes you can see, and it's all over chiropractic, it's all over in politics it's crazy, but where it's just kind of let's make a product to make money, but versus let's make a product that is a bleeding neck issue, right? A bleeding neck issue is if your neck's bleeding, you take care of that before you take care of anything else. Even if your T5 subluxated, you're taking care of the bleeding neck. But bleeding neck issues, and not just creating products. I know, Jim, like you drive patients into chiropractic offices. Like that's such an essential. That's such an essential need for chiropractors, feeding the bleeding neck need versus, hey, let's create this program, this product that we know we can sell to people, but it doesn't actually get the result. So that's very near and dear to my heart, is working with people and working with businesses. That's frankly why I wanted to get on the podcast, because Jim, I know your heart is good, is really serving people and helping them with their solutions. So the last product we're developing, and you'll hear more about this in the future. Maybe Jim will we can do a Facebook Live or something on this. But we have a new course coming out for doctors, the 2019 Practitioner Guide, Social Media Guide for Doctors, and how to build social media in 2019. And that's we built that because chiropractic isn't nearly doing chiropractors and natural doctors are not nearly doing a good enough job of marketing and promoting themselves through social media. This is not just including Facebook ads, but social media, and more we're going to see it's exponentially growing into the digital marketing space, the digital space. I mean, gosh, 10 years ago a newspaper ad did well, and now it's like you can't, you could probably find some remote towns where you can get a newspaper ad to do decently, but more and more, all marketing and the guy down the street that just graduated, if he knows how to market himself on social media, he's going to pull all your patients. And so we got to be able to be effective on social media. So we're building a course on that. We're also this is you're the first people to hear this. So we are launching a doctor social media summit on January 19th. It is online. So you don't have to pay for travel and go to the and come to the event and bring your staff. Your staff can attend for it. And the craziest thing about it is it's 1,000% free. And I guarantee you it'll be the best social media summit, hands down. People charge thousands and thousands of dollars for social media summits. We're going to have Dr. Josh Axe on there. We're going to have a number of social media people that have hundreds of thousands and millions of followers that are essentially tailoring everything to natural chiropractic and natural functional medicine. It's for brick and mortars and for people with online companies. But it will be the don't miss event of the year, January 19th, 2019. And again, it's 1,000% free because that's how much I care about chiropractors getting on the map and putting chiropractic on the map. I saw a post, post yesterday on Facebook. Someone said if every chiropractor, there's 35,000 chiropractors, and every chiropractor told 3 people every single day about chiropractic, like by the end of the year, everybody would know, the truth about chiropractic. And that's what I believe social media can be for chiropractic, is if we're doing social media the right way and following the strategies that these influencers that are building, you've seen it. These influencers, Selena Gomez, like 120 million followers. Like imagine we had a chiropractor that had that, or even just every chiropractor had 10,000 followers in the community. What that could do for chiropractic and what it could do for your practice. So yeah, those are the products that I kind of got on the queue, and super pumped about all of them. And yeah.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Chiro Thin, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Universal Tractioning Systems, Rhino Coaching, Chiropractic Jobs Online, and Chiro Matchmakers. Let's hustle. The things that you're saying really churned my brain to 2 years ago when I first met you. I met you out at Chiro Fest on the Pacific Northwest of Paul Reed's event.
Yep, great event.
And some of the things that you say that you're rolling out right now, you discussed with me back then. So I think it's really cool how you've been able to keep your focus, and as well as to speak about what you might be doing with other influencers, because a lot of times people are really close to the cuff about what they're doing with their intellectual property, if you will. But I think it was really cool that when we first met, you were telling me all these exciting things that you were up to. And now after 2 years of that, I've seen where a lot of these programs have taken you. So it's cool to see you not be afraid to teach other people, as you've discussed in the last little segment here, is how you want to empower the chiropractor to understand that, becoming an influencer isn't just in our space. It's outside of the chiropractic space. And honestly, Dave, that's one of the reasons that we do the podcast, is to let chiropractic live outside the four walls of chiropractic. And I think that that's so necessary for the future of chiropractic. And I know that's the next question we have lined up for you, and I'm going to let Luke get into that with you.
Yeah, we're going to throw a little curveball at you. Speaking of the future of chiropractic, where do you see the profession in 20 years?
Man, that is a curveball, but I love the question. I think I see the future as bright. I think that it's pending on the ability of chiropractors to evolve with the technology, the communication pathways, because really the loudest voice wins. So as we evolve, and maybe even tying into what I had mentioned before, but part of the reason why I'm doing these courses and doing these events for free, because I don't want any reason for a chiropractor to not be able to get the voice of chiropractic out there. I think that 20 years depends on our ability to communicate with the outside world. Technology is changing at such a rapid pace, and the CVS pharmacy down the road, the doctor in the hospitals down the road, every drug company out there is vying for your patients and for people's money and time and health. And I think that we need to become a louder voice. There's a number of people that are doing that, but I think, Jim, one of the things you said was, kind of keeping your cards close to you and being afraid to share information without, a high price point. I frankly, especially in outside of chiropractic, that time is gone. The information age is done. It's out there. The information is out there. We have to be able to. And I'm not against making a profit and generating revenue. I think that you need to have revenue to grow. But I think that, the information age is complete. So, doctors that can find this information, a lot of this information, if you do your homework, you can probably put together and really study and study, building on social media. Something that's my lane that I feel like if I can do it, I might as well share what I'm doing already. But I think it's going to come down to kind of chiropractic coming together, having a united voice, and really evolving with the communication technology. VR. I mean, I don't know. I mean, VR chat rooms. We were talking about this yesterday. It's funny. We were talking about this the other day. Our kids will meet their spouses probably in a virtual reality chat room. Not probably, almost guaranteed. Your kids will meet their spouse in a virtual reality chat room, which is like, are you kidding me? Like that's crazy. Like that your child might meet their new significant other, playing ping pong in a virtual chat room, But that's just a reality. That's where it's going. That's where kids are getting on now. And one thing I've noticed with technology and communication technology, look at how 16 to 20-year-olds are communicating, and that ripples right all the way up to everybody else. So Snapchat's what people are doing right now, and Periscope and things like that, those live TV things. Well, live TV was, 4 or 5 years ago, and now you're seeing Instagram TV and Facebook TV. Pretty soon, you'll see Comcast will be less and less, and Comcast is kind of moving everything online. And so, I think the future of the profession is bright. I think the truth always shines through. So as long as there's someone that's willing to speak the truth, the profession will still continue to exist. I think the profession will thrive if doctors can get on board with the changes of technology to get the message out there.
Yeah, some of the things you said there just really excite me because I really think that information is stronger than the university that educates the practitioners of the future as well. And I think that the education is fundamental, as you know, but the information surrounding chiropractic has a way to grow the profession greater than any, if you will, conveyor belt system, which is our education model. I think like you figured out, like becoming an influencer, you have to learn media. And there's guys out there right now that are wondering where their next patient's coming from, and they don't want to learn media. And they don't want to, get to where it is right now. And I've always told people this, if they don't eventually pick up the resources that are available to them, like you said, the information age has already spilled its guts. And if people don't start learning from the information, I guess it goes to this, we interviewed, what's the guy's name? Tim, who's the guy? No, there's a guy that we interviewed at Mile High 4 years ago. Anyways, he said that it's not a lack of information, it's too much information. What do you pay attention to?
Tim O'Shea.
He said that there's not a lack of information, there's too much information. So it's how we harvest the information that's available that makes sense. And basically, like you do, you model things that work and you teach those to other people. And I think that that's the age that we're coming into, is we're coming into an age that we have to manicure the information that we have access to.
I agree 100%. And I do think it starts at the university level. I actually had Dr. Guy Reekman and Jill LaMarche in town about a month ago, and we were actually working on a course for, because I just remember the business courses, like you were saying, there's just the business courses in chiropractic school, if anybody on here that is a chiropractor, were mediocre at very best. They were actually terrible, at least for me. They were just terrible. And one of the things we want to do is teach a class in the schools that teach you how to do social media and how to do these things correctly. I agree 100%. I think my calling is to allocate all the information that's outside what's working when looking at millions of dollars of ad spend and marketing budgets, and say, okay, how can I take all this stuff that we're running, that we're seeing, all this information, and how can we apply this to getting chiropractic and the truth about chiropractic and the vitalistic model out? So I think absolutely, I think that quote's right on with there being too much information, but and not enough know-how.
Yeah, the things that you're saying make a lot of sense, and like you said, you have to find where the neck is bleeding from and then plug that hole. And I think that, the sooner that, one of the questions I always ask chiropractors that don't do external events, which you said you kind of loathe, I asked them, when's the last time you ever had a class or instruction on how to do a health screening at a farmer's market, or have you ever been taught how to do external marketing at a health fair? And the answer is no. And I think that, some of the things that Luke and I are working on and the back office are taking my systems and strategies for going out and harvesting your community for new patients effectively. And one of the things that we are changing is it used to be called a chiropractic screening, and all I'm really interested in is scheduling. So we're changing the paradigm of the screening to a scheduling event. And I think that if you key in on, like you said, what you're best at, and even though sometimes we reject what our best gift is because we don't want to just pigeonhole ourselves into something, like you said, be obsessive about one thing and focus on one thing. The crazy thing is my career did that for a while, and then I wanted to reject being so good at it because I wanted to advance myself in the space greater.
Yeah, no, I know the exploits of Jim Chester screening. I just remember seeing on Facebook, like, I was in Alaska, I think, one time. You were there like a week beforehand, and it was like you scheduled like 300 people in like 4 days. I was like, dude, that's like past my lifetime numbers. I think I'm like a lifetime, like, scheduled maybe 300 patients in the screening total. I was like, but yeah, I mean, screening is, as much as I said earlier that I don't love it, I think it's absolutely necessary for the new doc, and for docs that are looking to grow their practices on a grassroots level. So yeah, systematizing that would be incredible.
So a minute ago, we were all talking about being in the age of too much information and how to sift through it. So we wanted to ask you, as a marketing strategist, how should chiropractors be using media to their advantage, whether it be social or traditional?
That's a great question, Luke. And partly my response is come to the event. It's free, and we're going to go through all that. But to answer, because it's a tough question to answer in 3 minutes, I think it really depends on, and maybe I'll spend a minute on this, but finding out what your gift is, right, in terms of communication. So, are you great on video? Are you great in text? Do you like to do longer videos? Are you okay with doing shorter videos? To be frank, if you're a business owner, I think that almost all business owners, whether it's you or your lead doc or your key staff member, has to be able to be willing to do videos. You don't have to be good. If you look at any great YouTube channel, even look at Dr. Axe's first Facebook Lives, they were terrible. Now they're awesome. It's like it's just a muscle you work out just like you do in the gym. But I think finding out what that one thing is that's your best way to communicate. Maybe your key thing is spinal mobility, and you can give some stretches or spinal stretches that you can, start to get value at people online. You got to give someone an adjustment on social media, but you can get them some relief. I think, looking at social media as and Facebook and email as a way to kind of date future patients, if you will. So when you go to date somebody, and this is where I kind of struggle a little bit with screenings, is when you go to date someone, you don't walk up to them and say, "Will you marry me?" Right? It wouldn't work out well if you've just met someone and the first thing you said was, "Will you marry me?" Right? It's, "Hi, I'm Dave Touhill." And then the conversation evolves from there, right? But I look at the kind of using social media as a way to date them. So a key thing would be to write out who your avatar patient is, right? What are their wants and needs? What do they love? What do they? Where do they shop? What are their bleeding neck issues, if you will? And how do you find that? Who are the majority of people that come into your office, and what do they say in their new patient appointment? Oh, I have this. That's who you find out. That's who your avatar is. And then what's the pathway? So I kind of draw that on one side, draw a line, and the other side is, where do you want to take them to? What level of awareness do they need to be at for them to want to come into your office, right? What do they need to know about you? They need to know who you are. They need to trust you. So they need to, doing things like testimonials and having other people speak highly of you. Building trust through doing Facebook Lives and doing videos and things where you can educate them on spinal mobility or nutrition or things like that. But getting them to a point where they trust you so that when you actually ask them to come into the office, it's not like, I don't know you from Adam, but it's, oh, this is this guy that's given me so much value and helped me so much in the past. And then once you figure that out, you create your plan based on that. So these are the type of people. So think about the patient in your town, that or the patients in your office that's in that exam room. Would they be interested in listening to a 20-minute video on turmeric? Maybe it's yes. Probably it's not. So don't do a 20-minute video on turmeric. What's their attention span? How long would they listen? If your audience is younger, they're gonna have an attention span of about 1 minute, right? If your audience is 35 to 55, they'll have attention span that's a little bit longer, maybe 4 to 5 minutes, for someone that they don't even know, right? Once they know you, you can go a little longer. But I think just finding out who you're looking to talk to, how do you intend to talk to them, and then creating a plan for how you're going to nurture them and get them to become aware of the benefit of chiropractic, becoming aware of who you are and the trust in you. Things like doing a walkthrough video just with your iPhone of your office so people can see. People used to do window shopping, right? Remember that thing, window shopping? You kind of walk around, look inside. People would post, the clothing or the product outside in the windows. Now we don't do that. We get everything on Amazon.com. That's our window shopping. So you need to, that's a big thing on social media, is let people window shop. Show people what an adjustment looks like. Show people what the exam room looks like. Show people what the X-ray room looks like. Have people meet your front desk manager. Show people how friendly your office is. Those are all different ways where you can help them, guide them from a place of, I don't know you from Adam, to, maybe I should go in and check out, Dr. Jim's office, and get a new patient appointment. That's so helpful, especially maybe when you do a screening and someone goes to look you up and they see you on social media. They're like, wow, this is someone I really want to know. If it's in a dating situation where you meet someone, hi, I'm Dave. Nice to meet you. We schedule a time to get a drink later on that week. That person's going to look me up, and the positive reviews and the familiarity is going to help them be like, man, I really can't wait for that that appointment or that meeting. And it's the same thing you do on Amazon. When you go on Amazon to look at a product, the first thing you're going to do, I know you do it, you go down and check the reviews, and then you check what's the other things, how can this help me? Everybody has a need, and they want to get out of pain, they want to live a more healthy life. But we have to help bridge that gap, and I think using social media, and those are some tips that you can use with social media to help bridge that gap.
Yeah, shameless self-promotion, but we actually do office tour videos for clinics, so if anyone out there listening wants a really good one, let us know. And now I'm going to ask you to open Pandora's box just a little bit. What are some of your favorite marketing strategies that you just can't do without?
Let's see. I have about 10 favorites, but I just said that my words to live by are one goal, one action, so I'll give you one.
Okay.
It really varies. Can I do two? Can I do one and a bonus?
Sure.
So I would say one. As you start to do these videos, and if you have videos, I got two good ones. So the one would be, if you have videos, or if you had videos made, start uploading those to your YouTube channel, right? And then get a Apple TV or a Google Chromecast, and what you can do is on your waiting room TV, so maybe you even just get testimonials. So starting this week, have a goal of every single week we get a new testimonial, right? Super simple. Whenever anybody says they have results, have a camera right there, a little selfie camera, and just say, tell us about your results. Take all those, put them on your YouTube channel, get a Chromecast, plug it into the side of your TV in your waiting area, and just play your YouTube channel on loop. You can Google how to loop my YouTube channel, and just loop your YouTube channel. That's going to create so much trust and value for the people that are in the waiting area, for the patients that are already under care, right? The people in the waiting area, it's going to validate, or it's going to build trust and value. For the people that are already under care, it's going to validate their decision to come to the office, create more lifetime patients. So that's number one for in the office. And then from a digital and virtual side, I think one of the things that we don't do a good job of is capturing emails. And if you do, you're not using them. So email is such a great way to nurture an audience of your current patients or your past patients. Again, like I said, current patients or past patients or future patients. Current patients that, getting them to become more, validate their decision and become more involved in your community. Future patients that maybe came to a screening but never showed up, or came to a one in an exam but never actually signed up, you got their email, you can nurture them. Just like I was saying before with the social media, you need to get to a point where they know and trust you and they can believe that you can get the results that they need. And then also patients that were past patients that maybe came on for care and then they left. Using email is so important and it's so simple, right? So using email for that is so important. And what you can do is you can either, you can use something like Constant Contact, but if you have, any CRM that you're using in your practice or patient manager, you can just Google or call them up and say, how do I get all my emails off of here? You download the CSV file. You can upload it to an iContact, Constant Contact. They're very simple. And just have your staff send out one email a week. Or maybe even start with one email a month. Just have them send out one email a month. And what I would include in that email is maybe if you're doing those testimonials, maybe a testimonial, what's going on in the office, and a message and a note from the doctor. So maybe the note from the doctor's at the top, actually. Maybe it's 2 or 3 sentences of just, things that are going on. Maybe there's something that's going on nationally. There's a tragedy. You want to build a community in your practice, and using email and social media, like we mentioned before, but using email can help build that community and build that connection. So the 2 things are get a waiting room TV. The simplest way is just upload your testimonials to YouTube and play that channel on loop. You can use a Chromecast or any Roku. All those things have, as long as you can get YouTube, the YouTube app, you have it. Some TVs actually already have it on it. And then the second thing is utilize your email list.
Yeah, the best thing about that first one is you don't even have to have video cameras anymore because everyone has them built right into their phones.
Exactly.
So in this day and age, there's literally no excuse to not do that.
Yeah, exactly. There's no excuse to not get the testimonials. Testimonials, guys, it's like what happens in our practices is unbelievable. To this day, I'm still blown away by the fact when you even see in the news, chiropractic it doesn't help with this, whatever. I'm like, this is nothing, this might be off topic, but I've seen literally hundreds of people, and I'm not saying that, I'm claiming this or whatever, but hundreds of people come into our practice with stage 2 or higher cancer and leave cancer-free. I'm like, we have insane testimonials in our practices. Insane. If people knew, if literally they just put a billboard and everybody in the town had to watch 5 testimonials of what happened in our office, we would never have to worry about a patient again. It's like there's the value in social media and doing all these right there. Tell the story. It's incredible what happens in our practices, and we don't. And it's like nobody knows. It's like it's the best kept secret, and it's been the best kept secret for 112 years, or however long we've been around.
Honestly, Dave, that's why we're releasing these episodes with Chiro Hustle, because we want to share the testimonial of the chiropractor. We want to share the message of chiropractic to where people can understand what chiropractic is and what it isn't. And like you said, some communities running a newspaper ad could have been effective 10 years ago. Maybe some can still do that. But we have to go to the information age, and we have to deliver content that people can digest. And we have to package our information into ways that people will actually use it. And the podcast world is on fire right now. And if people aren't out there figuring out how to condense the information into a way that people will actually take action and use it, then, I think that they're leaving a lot of the money on the table when it comes to, whatever they can do to repurpose the message. And whether it's a testimonial for a clinic or whether it's a podcast for an influencer, we have to figure out how people will interact with information. And if people are going to watch Facebook Lives, then do them. And then figure out how to strip them and make audio of them. Or, and if people are going to do infographics, go into an interview that you're doing and take some screenshots of you interacting with somebody and tag it up properly and make a still image out of it. And I think that we're so far into the information age right now, like you said earlier, and there's no purpose for anybody not to at least find a consultant that can give them, guidance on, hey, I don't know anything about this. Can you help me? And I think that's probably the first step I would ask anybody to do out there that's listening to this episode. And it's like, dang, that stuff that those guys are talking about is super interesting to me. Find somebody that, the Napoleon Hill standard, find somebody you know, like, and trust, reach out to them and say, hey, can you help me?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's good. It's great.
So let's dive into you a little bit deeper. I know that we're coming up on the edge of our time together today, but what do you like to listen to or read? And what piece of advice might you give to the future chiropractic entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a big question there, Jim. Kind of quartered me a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. I think, in terms of reading materials, I think, if you're under the age of 20, or I'm sorry, if you're in the age of 20 to 30, at least right now, I spent, the better part of my 20s learning. And so I was reading all the books. I've read dozens and dozens, every entrepreneur's book out there I've read. But I think there's a time of kind of studying and learning. So, once you become obsessive about that one thing, you have to study and learn it. But I think that, right now, to be honest with Jim, I'm reading a Christian book, David Perceived He Was King, which is a Christian book about, the identity. But other than that, I'm actually not reading any other entrepreneurial books, because the cool thing is that I think one of the best ways to get information, we're talking about so much information out there. How do you find out what's working and what to use? I do that through networking. So I have, a number of people that I meet with on a weekly basis that most of them even have a business opportunities with this time, but we just kind of shoot the breeze and we talk about what's working, what's not working. And we've all kind of have our experience of all the books we've read and all the things all this life experience that we're applying on the situation right now. So I think my advice, maybe this is answering both questions, but in terms of books to read, I would say read find books that feed your spirit. I think for a lot of the docs, we've kind of done a lot of the book learning, if you will. I think if you're starting a new business online, or if you're starting another hustle, The Lean Startup is a great book. If you are looking for more advanced business strategies, scaling up, I would say the number one book, the last book that I've read it twice now, the number one book I would recommend right now is Principles by Ray Dalio. It's brilliant. It's for your life and the business side. Principles by Ray Dalio is just an unbelievable unbelievable book that teaches you how to do business the right way. And then lastly, I would just say really connecting with other people that you either aspire to be or in the same boat as you. It's said too often, but I don't think it's actually utilized enough. You're the average of the people you spend your time with. If you're a chiropractor in practice, don't spend all your time with people that are struggling in practice. If you're a single guy that wants to have a great relationship, get married, don't hang out with the guys who've been divorced 50 times. It's like if you want to build a membership-based practice, start reaching out to people that have membership-based practices. And when you reach out to them, don't reach out to them in a sense of, hey, give me all your stuff. You really want to reach out to them in a way of, hey, let's just chat and get to know each other and see how we can help each other. I think, especially, our peers, people that are my age, we have a tendency to kind of go out and try to just ask. We never give anything. I get a lot, oftentimes I'll have people ask, hey, can you do a shout out for this, And I'm like, I don't want to give it, that's just like me giving to you. You're just taking, right? Versus, hey, I'd love to, like Jim, like when we were chatting about doing this podcast, it was, hey, let's do a podcast together. We're actually going to film another version for my podcast after this. But how can we help each other versus how can I take from you? So getting some of those relationships and it doesn't need to be in chiropractic. It could be in, I have a real estate agent friend. I have a SEO Google guy that I connect with on a regular basis. Dr. Axe is in the supplement space. I'm able to connect with him on a regular basis. So finding people that can support you and grow you, I would spend more of your time doing that. I think too often we spend too much time in the books. I'm not saying I'm against books. I'm just saying to actually sometimes it's the best thing to do is get out of the books and start actually applying in the real world. and then getting real time feedback from your network.
And really, the reason that we're actually on this interview today, if you guys made it this far into the interview, is because I was social on social, and I said, "Hey, do you want to do an episode of Hustle?" And you replied back, "Yes."
Yeah, that's how it works. That's the best way to do it. When someone you see someone post something about something, just send them a message. Like, I think we get I don't know what it is. I think it's because we're all on the internet now, but like, I love sending people messages like, dude, let's connect. Like, I don't know, we have mutual friends. Let's connect and let's meet up. Let's talk about stuff. So yeah, I think having the boldness to connect is, and Jim, you're great at this. You're always, you're on every stage and at every event. So you obviously have a great boldness in that. So.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, but I honestly feel like, I don't know if when you were growing up if you had a pen pal, but
yeah.
I think that was like one of the coolest things as when we were kids is we had pen pals in different countries. Now what we do is we have pen pals nonstop.
Yeah, too many pen pals, right? Too much noise.
So, also on the topic of supporting and helping each other, this is the best part of the show. This is where we ask you for any website plugs or places where people can find out more about you and your products.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, maybe I gave that too soon, Luke, but as I mentioned earlier, the big thing for me right now is, my mission is to get as many chiropractors doing social media. We're good, as many chiropractors doing social media and spreading the message of chiropractic and getting people into your office organically, not having to spending money on ads, while I think ads are very effective, but building just an incredible social media platform. So again, like I mentioned before, we're bringing in a number of different influencers. I think with the combined total of our influencers that have about 9 million followers that will be coming in and coaching and training with us on January 19th. You'll be able to find the link on my website, meetwithdrdave.com. You also can see a couple of the other things that the products that I offer on there. But meetwithdrdave.com, I'll have a banner right at the top there for you to be able to register for the event. That's kind of my big push right now, is to get as many people in that event as possible. Our goal is to have 4,000 docs learning social media, and my mission is if we can get 4,000 docs that each teach 100 people about chiropractic, we have 500,000. We'll have 500,000 people by the end of the end of the year next year that know about chiropractic and our messages, which is going to lead to a lot of organic. When I say organic, is non-paid. Low investment patients that are able to and really building a community on social media. So that event is January the 19th. I'll give you guys also a direct link to the event page, and you can find it on my website, meetwithdrdave.com.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up this episode of Chiro Hustle. Dr. Dave, I want to thank you for being our guest today.
Awesome. It's great to be with you guys. I look forward to the next time we jump on.
Cool, Dave. Thank you for all of the information and being so accessible for our audience too. And if you guys want to jump onto that free training in January, follow the link here, and you'll be able to reach out to Dave and hopefully get some strategies and become a greater influence on the social scene.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks.
We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.